to run through different markets, what we're looking at this morning, different levels we're looking at, ideas, and the directionality of what I'm specifically going to be looking for the day on the account challenge. So let's go ahead and get to it. Starting over here, there's really no high impact news that would keep us out of the market for this morning. So what we look for high impact news is the red reports, the ones that are labeled as red, even the ones that are labeled as orange. Sometimes can be impactful, but definitely the ones labeled as red, because those have the highest potential impact across markets and could be potential catalysts for movement. Yesterday, for example, we had Ms. Lagarde was testifying, not really testifying, but she was doing a Q&A session and giving some statements yesterday. That meeting went 3 hours. 3 hours. It was ridiculous. It blew my whole trading day. Now, it was Euro news, so the question is, well, Brian, it's Euro news. What does it matter? Why didn't you trade during it? Well, it's high impact, and it can send ripples. So if there was some blurb or some statement, obviously statements are typically, we have an idea of what's going to come out, but during the Q&A sessions, there could be hints of something that might be leading to policy change that might be different from what the market has been expecting. Even though it's Eurozone, that can send ripples back through markets. So, I just choose not to trade during high impact news. You don't have to trade every day. I want to reiterate that. If things aren't meeting your setup, don't trade. If part of your setup means you don't trade during high impact news, then don't trade. No one's forcing you to push the button. And I know I say this over and over like a broken record, but the more selective you are with the trades you take, the better you're going to be in the long run. Sorry, I heard somebody walk into my office. It was my cat. So the more selective you are, the better chance you give yourself over that long run, right? You've got to be selective. You've got to have a plan. You've got to stick to the plan. I'll admit, when we get to the charts for futures, I was getting antsy. I really wanted to pull the trigger, but it's not part of the plan. You've got to be able to recognize when things are part of the plan and when things aren't. So anyway, long and short of that, no high impact news, no things that would really keep us out today. We do want to keep our eye out. There may be some reaction around job openings. There may be some reaction as this announcement comes out for the economic optimism. But overall, I think will be pretty clear day for trading. With that said, popping over to the futures market, coming over here, not a whole lot for us to look at. Another day where we're coming into, we've got markets consolidating as we're coming into the U.S. session. So we've got our various currencies are pulling up to the midpoint. They're all coming together as opposed to diverging from one another, as opposed to moving apart. So they're coming together. We've had a lot of big movement over the London trading session so far. So as we look at, and I'll make this smaller so I can bring the other screen over here to you. As we look at the currencies that are potential pairings that we might track, most of these have already moved the number of pips that they would for the day. I mean, obviously we've got the Euro CAD potentially here. It's moved 95 pips on an average of 120 to 130. So there might be some opportunity there. The pound CAD's moved 55 on an average of typically 120 to 130. But most of these others have moved pretty much what their typical range is or exceeded their typical range. There's not a whole lot of opportunity there for us. If we look at the ones that are available, and we give some consideration to the Euro CAD or the pound CAD, again, not a whole lot of opportunity, especially the pound CAD. The pound CAD has been moving pretty much directly with one another, almost in lockstep, right? There's no divergence at all. They're moving just right with one another. So even though it's only moved 55 pips today, we can see why. There's just simply been no divergence between the pound and the CAD. They're both weak currencies and they're moving right together. The pound, or the Euro CAD, however, might be some opportunity here for us. The Euro has been a stronger currency over the last few hours. The Canadian has been a weaker currency over the last few hours, and there could be some divergence here. So if we see a nice little push with the Euro giving us some additional strength and the Canadian giving us some additional weakness here, there might be some opportunity to buy the euro against the CAD. We'll see where that goes and how that shakes out. If we look at the actual chart on it right now, it's not a great opportunity for us. We can see that the volume detail actually is supporting a bias to the short side. So we want to see our bias change over here for us, and potentially if we get the bias to change and that movement here with the Canadian and the euro diverging from one another, that might give us the opportunity to go ahead and click the buy button. That may be shortly after it breaks out of this area here, but all things considered, we'd still want to wait for our volume detail to catch up with us. So there's not a trade at this exact moment. There might be some opportunity here, though, in the next few minutes. So we'll see where that one ends up, where that one goes. All right, moving over to crypto land. Let's look at crypto, which is should be over here. There we go. We've been in a channel on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. We've been in kind of a tight channel, although yesterday we did see, actually really both of these, Bitcoin, we broke through the 9,800 level and then immediately sold off. And this sell-off took about 10 or 15 minutes for this on both of these. Just went boosh, just a flash straight down and then back up to where it was. Almost looks, like some level of manipulation. But what it really is that you've got key levels that have been hit, especially here around these tops, which probably triggered some level of algorithmic selling. And that selling occurred, and then it hit another level, which caused some algorithmic buying in the other direction. I don't think it was anything. People will look at this and go, oh, it's market manipulation, blah, blah, blah. There's just way more algorithmic trading in crypto than anywhere. And crypto is mainly algorithmic trading. So it's not unheard, and especially with the smaller volumes in crypto. You've got, if you've got a larger account or an institution with a larger account that then has a certain trigger that's hit, which causes selling on larger volumes, it's going to move that market. The crypto markets are tiny. They're tiny compared to Forex, compared to futures market, compared to the stock market. Crypto is tiny. So a lot of things people will look at and go, that's market manipulation. It's not. It's not. I mean, I think things occur. Yeah, on broker levels, I do. I do think there's manipulation there with some of these leveraged brokers that are coming up. The same manipulation we used to see in Forex, in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. I don't think what we're seeing here on the chart is true manipulation in that aspect. But I do think what happened here, just based on the way it sold off so quickly and then bought back so quickly, was something on a larger scale with algorithmic triggers, more than likely. So anyway, long and short of that is, if you're trading this to the long side, you probably got touched in as it broke above 245 and then got stopped out as it broke back below here. And if you were trading both directions, it might have even triggered you in here, then stopped you out as well to the short side. So it's one of those things are going to happen from time to time. Well, we are still in an upward trend. The bias on both of these is long, and as we break above 245, that's a good trigger for a breakout to continue long. If you were waiting for pullbacks and we're looking for a pullback down to 240, you might have had a good day yesterday where it pulled back and moved on. But if you're trading both directions based on the bracket, based on the channel that we've been in, this was a day yesterday it might have knocked you out of both sides of that. So those things certainly do occur. But stick to the plan. It's all about whatever the plan might be to continue there. So with crypto, we continue to look. We continue to have a long bias on both our Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, if you're looking to go long, 245 is a resistance level up here. If we break above 245, great spot to continue to to look to accumulate if you're an accumulation strategy. If it pulls back, 240 is the level down here. That's on a 4 hour that's been very well supported. Is 240 a little bit further up here? This 242, 243 level even could be an opportunity to go in. Over on Bitcoin side of things, same thing. 9,800 is a top level here, so breaks above 9,800 would be opportunities as a breakout to continue to buy. If it pulls back, we could be looking at 9,600 to buy, on that pullback, or even down here if you want to go a little bit higher at 97, which is seeming to shape up here. It's been a resistance point that has been broken, became support, and we can see how that's been pretty well respected as well. So a couple opportunities there. And again, if you're keen to trading both sides, we are in a channel. It's very clear that we're in a channel here. You might even widen the brackets out a little bit if you're looking for breakouts, and even maybe go as low as 237 to short it, or as high as 250 to go long. But I think you're safe in this channel as long as you're consistent with the application of it. And, so anyway, there you go. What else? The futures side of things. Big day yesterday in futures. Lots of movement, lots of opportunity. Again, I did not participate. I did not take any trades yesterday for what we're looking at here, especially when we watch the micro levels. Yesterday's trading session, was pretty interesting. However, it was news the entire time that we began. So on this pullback that occurred over here, this was all during news, and I never had a chance to participate. So pulled back and then did exactly what it's going to do, and just pushed on from there. A lot of opportunities to have potentially gone in, but again, I did not participate. It was beyond my trading hours by the time the ECB conference let up. So what are we looking at for the day, though? What are we looking at for the day? Well, continue to have a long bias. So the 4 hour bias is long, 30-minute bias is long as well. So we continue to look for buying opportunities until that bias changes. If we get the 30-minute that does roll over, if we've had a big pullback here in off trading hours, if that continues during the U.S. session as the regular trading hours get started here in the U.S. in about an hour and 20 minutes, if that continues to push down and the 30-minute conflicts with the 4 hour, then we'll have a bias conflict and we don't trade, right? But for now, as long as this stays up, especially above 3,200, the bias will continue to be long, and we'll look for long trading opportunities. How am I going to trade it long? I'm going to watch for pullbacks, and then I'm going to trade it on an M5 at the top of a previously closed candle to see if we get a breakout back in the long direction as the market pulls back. I only trade for the first few hours of the morning, so anything that happens late in the day, I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm looking at things that first part of the regular trading hours where we get the most volume behind the moves that are occurring. So that's what I'm looking at for the day. Over on crude, the crude side of things, our biases have flipped. So yesterday we continued to have a long bias. It pulled back all day yesterday. There really wasn't even an opportunity to come in. Over the course of today, we pulled back a little bit more, and the 30-minute bias is mixed from the 4 hour bias. So the 4 hour bias is long, 30-minute bias is short. So that's just telling us, hey, take a break. Let this thing figure out what it's going to do. Same over here in gold. Our gold had a pretty big rally and has pushed back up above 1,700. 1,700's been a big key area for us. In this kind of recent fight, we can see back here 1,700 was it was tested and tested and tested and tested again yesterday. So 1,700, big number for us. It's broken back above it. Our 30-minute bias is long, but the 4 hour bias is short. So again, tells us, hey, sit on your hands. Now, I know, but Brian, you could probably find some trades. Yeah, you can always find trades. If you go looking for trades, you'll find trades, but that's not being patient. and money is transferred from the hands of the impatient to the hands of the patient. So I don't know what to tell you. You can find a trade at any moment of any time of any day. If you want to go looking for trades, and that's what your goal is to sit here and push the button and lose your money, do that. Go ahead. More power to you. What you're going to find for me is patience. And when the setup occurs, we take the setup. That's the only way you're ever going. I know I'm a broken record. I've been saying it for the last 12 years. Have a plan and trade your plan. That's the only way you're going to do it. So there you have it. That's what we're doing for the day. So just to recap that real quickly, crude and gold, mixed. Not even looking at them. S&P, right now we've got confirmed biases are still long, 30-minute and the 4 hour, still long. Coming into the regular trading session, we'll see what happens there. There's been a sell-off and off trading hours. If it continues to sell off, that'll probably change our bias. The big levels I'm looking at there, are the 3,200, 3,195. We break below those and we start seeing selling during the U.S. session, all bets are off there as well. But for right now, my expectation is we're going to keep that long bias coming into the regular trading hours here at 9:30 Eastern. So I'll be able to start looking for opportunities to buy on an M5 chart in the direction of that 30-minute and 4-hour bias, right? The biases change at some point, I'm done. I also have certain hours during the day that I trade. Get past those hours, no matter what happens, how great it might look, I'm done. All right, so that's the plan for the day. I'll come back and we'll do a quick recording at the end of the day. If I didn't take any trades, I'll tell you I didn't take any trades. If I have a trade, we'll show you the trade that we took. So there it is. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.